Hey RATBAGGERS, it's Jade. Today on a, again, subdued survival show as I'm still pretty sick. We've got Lord of the Rings Return to Moria announcing dedicated servers in its winter update coming very soon, as well as the introduction of paid DLC. If you want to take part in closed alphas for Among the Wild, a cozy, maybe creature collecting open world survival game, then you can go and sign up now. First waves have gone out and it looks like they're going to be extending it over the coming weeks and months. The latest with Ark Survival Ascended and its brand new doggo coming with Extinction, and my plans and changes to one of my channels going forward. Plus a pair of apocalyptic open world shooters, with one coming out of early access and another happening very soon. Deadside and Scum, we're diving into both of these today. So all that, let's go, is the survival show. So Lord of the Rings Return to Moria's winter update should be going live very soon. No release date given just yet, but the devs have had a first look at brand new basic transmogrification. You can now craft and make different types of armors and show something different. John Paul Dumont, I do believe, the game's creative director, has done a dev blog talking about this, as well as the introduction and announcement that there will be a paid cosmetic DLC set as part of this. I do feel like it's a bit soon for Return to Moria to start offering up microtransactions like this. I think it's done well enough on PlayStation, where it was exclusive for a while, before finally releasing on Steam and Xbox recently. The DLC is promising this Rohan kind of themed armor sets, as well as some more decorations like this banner. But he does then go on to say there will be some food recipes, a brand new weapon and maybe shield too, that will be exclusive to this set. It's not the most expensive game going, it is £20 and it's not in early access. Sitting at 87% positive review score on Steam as well at the moment. While maybe not selling hundreds of thousands of copies just yet, it's done well enough. So who am I to begrudge a game developer who's been working hard on this game for a few years now in trying to just get some extra revenue and keeping fans engaged that really love this kind of stuff. The golden update that came with 1.0 added a ton of new features, including refinements to their sandbox or ever play mode. But I don't know, there's just this niggling feeling at the back of my skull telling me this game probably needed more. It needs more content actually to go and do, as so many updates this year have been lots of quality of life. The winter update will be its fourth major update, and that's pretty good going, I ain't gonna lie, after a year being out on Epic Games and PlayStation, but I do feel like the game needs a little bit more. New enemy types, new kind of weapons and stuff, and maybe further improvements to a lot of the systems. No announcements on price, and I'm guessing we're going to have to just wait and see how it turns out. They are also offering a free Yuletide kind of event stuff with it as well. So there'll basically be lots of Christmas decorations for your dwarves, and that's going to be arriving as free as part of this update. The other improvements, again, are kind of more quality life stuff, like being able to rename chests, grow cranberries in your grow boxes alongside some of the other fruits and veg that you've been able to for a while. Trees and bushes will now regrow after a certain amount of time. And improvements to your treasure pile, so you don't actually lose some of your jewels. They now act as basically storage units. So all good stuff, but not really blowing me away. What will maybe make a lot of players happy though is the introduction of dedicated servers. They're testing this at the moment. No news how that's going to impact console players, whether or not you'll be able to utilise them. I'm guessing it's going to be the same thing though as other games. There is crossplay with PC, so you would simply rent out a PC server or host one if you've got the hardware and the capabilities, and then enable crossplay, and Xbox and PlayStation players will be able to join in future. That for sure is definitely something I can get behind and recognise a lot of players will probably like the look of. I've tried a few times to get into Lord of the Rings Return to Moria, but it was very grindy in the first stages, and then the golden update was cool, but it still maybe didn't do enough for me in terms of moving the dial. I think I might want to jump in one more time to try the sandbox mode, and who knows, if I can get a dedicated server up and running, maybe I can get some of my RATBAGG mods and friends to come and join me. As soon as I get news about the update's live date, I'll let you know, but sometime in December. So before I dive into the more realistic apocalyptic shooters, we're taking a look at something a bit more cozier. This is Among the Wild. It got announced in the summertime, kind of out of nowhere, and it does look very cute, and seemingly you are some sort of creature herder. It does seem to have very similar elements to creature collecting games. I don't want to say Power World because it's obviously not big massive dragons and stuff. But this is a open world crafting, maybe light survival elements as you capture and collect these furry little creatures and basically bring them back to your farm. Does look like there's some sort of elements of danger or maybe difficult to get creatures as you build up your farm, gather them resources and try and keep the little blubby things happy. This is made by a small little developer, I do believe, in Sweden, and they have one of the community managers that previously worked on Satisfactory. So in terms of info and what we're going to get in terms of dev blogs, they're pretty much in a good place. No release date yet, but they have now just begun alphas. In fact, they've sent out the first wave and I was a bit gutted I never saw one in my email, as I'm pretty sure I signed up when they announced it a while ago. You can still go and sign up now. I'm sure going to be doing waves of them over the next few months. Go and join a Discord to find out more information about this game. And I am fervently going to be checking my emails to see if I can hopefully get and take part in this. I can't imagine any gameplay will be allowed to be shown for a while, but yeah, what I'm seeing does kind of look pretty cool. It has mounts, it has base building of some sort, it has creature collecting and danger, all in a little cozy vibe. I'm down for this. What's your limit when it comes to survival and coziness? Let me know in comments down below. So after 4.5 years, Deadside is leaving early access. This started off pretty much seemingly as a DayZ clone of sorts. Effectively only released though about 8 months after Scum's initial release. Created by a tiny little dev team, it has grown over the years, and yeah, 4.5 years later, it's now just come out the blue as coming to 1.0 in literally a week's time. I can't say I've really kept up with the progress of this game. I maybe revisited once after its initial release, and it was kind of lackluster at launch. It was trying to do lots of things. At the very beginning, it had just a very limited part of the map you could explore. It had save zones, very different from DayZ of course, where you could go and buy certain pieces of gear, and kind of base setting up was pretty much taking over buildings that were already there and maybe putting locks in them and stuff. During its early access run, they've added things like quests and missions where you can pick up, I guess, loot or maybe payment. They've added fishing and being able to utilise the little skinny boats and more guns than a Trump rally. So relatively good maybe cadence of updates, and now culminating in 1.0. Adding full proper base building to the game now, where you'll be able to upgrade your bases over time, and they're finally adding vehicles, things like jeeps, trucks and more. It's sitting at a pretty respectable 78% on Steam as positive reviews, and it must have sold a fair few copies as it's got over 30,000 reviews. Scum is also approaching its 1.0 in the near future. Let's hope that some of these games might be able to take on the might of DayZ. As I told you guys yesterday, they've had their own issues with overly priced DLC and basically hitting back at fans. So if you're looking for a new PvP, PvE experience, you might want to check out Deadside. It still has many of the same sort of features where there are safe zones and places for you to go and trade, but the new addition of these bases being built and added, as well as the vehicles and stuff, really do hopefully show this to be something to maybe give it another go. They've done all the right things during development, and pretty much it took a while for some updates, but they've had lots of PTBs and they've got currently one running, so you can go and test out a lot of the vehicles and the new base building as well to give some early feedback before it arrives on December the 5th. So GG to the Deadside crew. It's not often you can see an early access game not really have any controversies, maybe not have the biggest player base, but have plugged away, consistently gave updates, and now finally getting that 1.0. I don't imagine they're going to stop there. I'm sure they'll probably keep updating, but who knows, maybe now with some success, maybe from the 1.0 release, they might even be able to think about console ports. The perhaps only fly in the ointment of all of this is Scum have just had one of their last big updates maybe before 1.0, and it's just gone live this week. Trailers kind of confused me quite a bit, as it's showing like this bombastic, very cinematic stuff with some dude apparently about to get wiped out by a military unit of some kind, and then being saved almost by like dudes in Fallout kind of armor suits. But the actual patch notes themselves don't list any of this stuff. So yeah, I'm not too sure why they've called it fameseekers either. It does add a ton of quests, as well as a new mobile phone and the introduction, I do believe, of maybe heavy turrets. Improvements to animations and the way that you move. Some new weapons, including maybe mini Uzis. Plus some new clothing, like I said, the turrets, and maybe a brand new motorbike. And some new additions to base building and obviously lots of improvements. But yeah, it doesn't really kind of fit to me, the actual name of the update or the actual hype 4K trailer. Anyway, Scum is on its way to 1.0 as well very soon. Given it's 0.96, there can't be that many updates before it does arrive at 1.0, as the ratings board, I do believe in somewhere like Taiwan, rated it for console, so it should be happening maybe early or to mid to next year. Now, Scum obviously hit the big news points when it sold 1 million copies in a space of only like 5 weeks initially, and then it had a bit of a rocky up and down start to a point where I did deem the game pretty much dead. Wasn't maybe getting as many updates, they weren't really communicating as well as they did. Promises they'd made about getting the game to early access very quickly never materialised. Turns out they probably had some sort of disagreement with their original publishers, Devolve, as they ended up breaking away from them. Since then, they have been consistent with their updates, introducing more and more features, most of them successful, and again, hitting a review score of 79% at the moment. Like, honestly, you could squint and maybe not see too much difference between them once you start looking at gameplay. So let me know, have you played both Scum and Deadside? Which one do you prefer? I'm sure they've both got really unique stuff. Like I said, I haven't revisited either of them in a long time. And I guess, yeah, it might be early next year we hear news about Scum coming out into 1.0 and consoles. Ark's community crunch has been posted a bit early, as I'm sure lots of people will be celebrating Thanksgiving. Their new map as part of their remaster is coming in December the 16th. Extinction was a paid DLC for the previous version of Ark, but now it's going to be free for everyone who owns Ark Survival Ascended. However, what won't be free is the brand new doggo that's coming as part of this. This is one of the creatures that you're going to be getting through the season pass that they slapped on Bob's Ark's Tall Tales. This is the third and final piece of Bob's Tall Tales. We're not quite sure how it's going to work in future for the last parts of maps that are coming like Gen 1 and Gen 2. But hopefully a return to the community maps being made with a bit more quality. No doubt about it, through their financials, Wildcard have had to prioritise and work on these specific Bob's Tall Tale maps, as they were the only maps that they effectively have got extra paid content on, apart from their microtransaction DLC they introduced. If they don't make a certain amount of money before the end of the year and pay back certain creditors, they're going to owe a lot more money or be forced to sell up some of their stocks. Extinction is meant to be a bit of a homage to Mad Max. The Wasteland War, expect lots of vehicles with tons of new additions, but only if you've bought this season pass. So I'm kind of done bitching and moaning about it. I did for the other previous versions, for the other maps that they produced. Effectively, they've all just been paid to win. Even for PvE, there's limits to maybe what abilities certain creatures can have, and the latest one, the Doggo, does seem to have even more stacked stuff it can do. But at this point, the Ark fan base is literally locked in this relationship. You're never getting them out, no matter how much you try and tell them they're getting taken advantage of. So I probably won't be taking a look at it, but you never know. I always see or say I'm not coming back to Ark. Like, the stuff they're doing just puts me off so much. And then I went and made an old channel about it, because I was hyped and thinking that maybe the remaster and then hopefully Ark 2 could be something really good and recapture my early days of becoming successful at YouTube. As time's gone on and seen all the crap that happens with Ark, it just made me and put me off more and more, and I haven't uploaded anything to my third channel in months now. And honestly, I could just keep putting content out. I could be putting news videos on that channel, making some views and ergo some money, and honestly, it's pretty easy work. But I want to do stuff that I'm passionate about. I want to cover games that I'm really passionate about, and I've just not been with JPG Ascended covering Ark. So I've changed it to JPG2. I might have mentioned this a bunch in my community stuff and around. That I'm basically going to convert this to a, I would say, open world or RPG style kind of channel. Games like Fable, games like Assassin's Creed Shadows, maybe even Atomfall on here, although that still maybe has enough survival elements to keep it on JPG. I might even dip into games like Soul Reaver Legacy of Kain, and maybe even the Indiana Jones game. And effectively just do what I do with my other two channels. Lots of gameplay, mostly guides when I've got a game that I really like and I'm enjoying. And then in between, a little bit of news highlighting new games that are coming out or anything that's caught my eye in the gaming world. So, if something in Ark catches my eye, don't be too surprised if it does appear back on the channel where it all started for me being a YouTuber. And if you've got any interest in open world RPGs, kind of them experiences, then please go and subscribe to JPG2, as that's where I'll be covering the bulk of them games. Going to do a bit more sprucing up and revamping very soon, so that'll happen throughout December. And there we go, a little plug I guess. I am still recuperating, as I said, I'm being pretty sick this week. I kind of do want to get back to doing more gameplay and more guides, but honestly, there's so many games and updates, and I feel like I've lost a bit of momentum with some of them. So I probably will be doing a bit more live streaming throughout December, revisiting games like Enshrouded, maybe Return to Moria. Abiotic Factor I want to take a look out. So yeah, look out for longer streams from me. Definitely lots of news videos as I try and get up to scratch and up to date with so many of the games that maybe I need to work a bit more on. Once I got rid of this man flu. Until next time, Ratbags, I'll catch you later.